we have our work cut out for us. We need to send Barack Obama back to Chicago. I'd like to send him back to Kenya, back to...
The father of Senator Ted Cruz, Rafael Cruz, making a birther comment at a Tea Party rally last year. We showed you that video last night, highlighting the extremism on the far right. Evangelical wing of the GOP is way over there. But if you tried to look at that video today, you got this instead. The video apparently blocked to keep the public from seeing it. Obviously, someone didn't like it that we could show the public about the right wing. But you can't hide the ugliness of this stuff. It's already out there. Here's a newly uncovered video that you haven't seen yet, showing Rafael Cruz talking about Obamacare.
Obamacare is going to destroy the elderly by denying care, by even perhaps denying treatment on people that are in catastrophic sicknesses.
Obamacare is going to destroy the elderly? This extremism has been fully embraced by Rafael's son, Senator Cruz. Next week, he's heading to South Carolina to speak at a religious right conference. He'll share the stage with radical evangelicals who have made some stunning claims about America under President Obama. Just listen.
In this election, we tipped Western civilization. It's going to be different, absolutely different. The Christian value system, the Christian view of man, will be replaced.
Obama's been using the bully pulpit to advance Islam.
So here we are, kill 60 million babies, red ink as far as the eye can see, homosexuals praying at the inauguration. If we get mercy, I think the process of mercy looks like probably car bombs in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. and Des Moines, Iowa.
This stuff is far outside the mainstream, but every person you just heard is an organizer or featured speaker at the same event with Ted Cruz. This problem is much bigger than the Cruz family. It extends deep into the underside of right-wing politics. It isn't about faith or politics. It's about paranoia and hate. Joining me now is Michael Keegan, president of the People for an American Way. His right-wing watch blog tracks this extremist rhetoric. And Frank Schaeffer, a former evangelical turned progressive. He's author of the book, And God Said Billy. Thank you both for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Frank, this is really rough stuff, but not unfamiliar to you. What is this really about?
Well, listen, you know, Rev, we've talked about this before, but you're one of the only people in the mainstream media that gets it. The fact is, America does not have a right-wing political problem. America has a right-wing religion problem. And when they talk about losing our heritage and all the rest of it, this is a kind of a religious delusion that I talk about in my book, And God Said Billy, which might as well be a biography of the Cruz family. The fact of the matter is, religious delusion is driving this debate, and we've got to stop being so polite. You know, we believe in religious freedom and tolerance, and so we kind of dance around it, and we don't say something very obvious, and that is that the Obama sabotage campaign has been driven by one group, and one group only in this country, and that is white, predominantly Southern evangelicals who have a chip on their shoulder because he's black, because he's liberal, because he's compassionate and humane. He doesn't go along with their war on the poor, their war on women, their war on gay people, and they have it in for him, but not for political reasons.
Yeah.
They have it in for him because he doesn't fit in with their right-wing agenda that comes straight out of their interpretation of the Bible, the religious delusion that I talk about in the book, and that's it. That's the story, and that's what the media has not been reporting.
You know, Michael, how do these extremists, I'm talking about the evangelicals Frank were referring to, how are they connected to the politicians?
Well, it's interesting. Just a few years ago, a conservative politician would not have gone anywhere near any of these crazy people, but now they seek them out. They go to their conferences, and you often find, and that's why we track it on Right Wing Watch, is that you often find that what some crazy person says on a radio show just a few hours later is coming out the mouths of politicians. Ted and Rafael Cruz are a great example, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. And they're all flocking to these people for their advice and for their counsel and to be seen with them and be photographed with them, and they totally identify with them.
Do they, Frank, know that these people are way out there? And if so, then what is the appeal? Why would you want to be out with people so extreme?
Well, look, the problem the Republican Party has is that a fringe has taken over the Tea Party, and a fringe has taken over the Republican Party through the Tea Party. If it wasn't for all these gerrymandered states, predominantly in the South and some of the mountain districts, these guys would be a footnote that would not show up. They would be like the village idiot howling at the moon on the street.
Right.
The problem is the village idiot has taken over one of our political parties. And the media, I fault the media and the evangelical, quote, respectable leaders, like Billy Graham, whose son Franklin, by the way, is one of these right-wing crazy leaders. And I fault the people who are supposedly responsible for not speaking out. Where is the evangelical mainstream leadership saying, Ted Cruz and his dad are nuts, they don't represent us? Where are the people talking against the apocalyptic fantasies that Jesus will come back any minute, so health care reform, politics doesn't matter on the one hand. On the other hand, they don't like the black man in the White House.
Yeah.
They're going to do everything they can to sabotage him. So there's no logic to what these people are doing, because I say it again, it's about religious delusion and extremism. It is not about politics. And the kind of people I knew back in the 70s and 80s when I was an evangelical working in the Republican Party, I'm not anymore, thank God. But when I was, people like Jack Kemp and Bob Dole, who were friends of mine, would be shocked at these guys and would have nothing to do with them. In fact, they'd get primaried. They could not run in this party. These are religious fanatics. These are not politicians.
Michael, you know, when he talks about evangelicals and talks about how far out they are, let me play for you an interview from an evangelical radio show that aired yesterday. Just listen to how the host and guest talk about President Obama.
Obama is the leader of a massive cult himself. He's the leader of the cult, and the cult is Islam.
Is Barack Obama leading America to a cultural suicide?
Oh, yes.
I mean, a cultural Jonestown massacre.
Yes.
Now, this, Michael, was uncovered by your right-wing watch. This is scary stuff that's being put out over the airwaves. But like Frank says, no adults, in quotes, in the Republican Party or on the right are denouncing these kinds of statements.
Well, to add what Frank was saying, I mean, I think their strategy is, unfortunately, this is what appeals to voters in the primaries. We're going to see next week a good example of that. In Virginia, Ken Cuccinelli, who is a real extremist, he's the Attorney General for the Tea Party, got the nomination for governor in a walk, and now we'll see what the voters say. But I think that you're going to find that people in Virginia and all across the country are really sick of it, but it works in the primaries and it doesn't work in the general elections. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Some of the stuff you're saying, I mean, I feel sorry for the people who have to listen to this on our Right Wing Watch team every single day.
Yeah.
But every day there is a constant reminder that these people are extremists, and some of the things you can't even believe, you couldn't even make it up. And it'd be funny if it wasn't so scary.
No, you know, Frank, he's right. It is so much out there. I mean, yesterday, a right-wing radio host, Brian Fisher, tweeted this: "We need a Christian president in 2016 who will invite Christian clergy to exorcise the White House." And this summer, an evangelical radio web host actually prayed to get rid of the demon of tyranny in the White House. Listen to this.
We pray against the domestic enemies of the Constitution, against this demon of tyranny who is using the White House occupant. And that demonic spirit is oppressing us.
Now, that host is actually running as a Republican in a seat for the Colorado State House, Frank.
Well, you know, Reverend Al, there's no way to overstate this. Once you let the spirit of religious fanaticism loose, this idea of saved or lost, if you disagree with me, you're evil, it's no longer about policy. And religious delusion that I write about in And God Said Billy is the textbook that describes these people. It's not politics, it's delusion. And what a shame on our country that these racists, these deluded white reactionary Republicans, these folks calling themselves Christians, and I'm one, I am a Christian, so I resent people who call themselves Christians that are deluded religious racists. These folks have it in for this president for reasons that have nothing to do with politics. And I'm tired of it. You're tired of it. Every reasonable American is tired of it. And I just pray to God that, gerrymandering or not, we can toss these people out and get this country back at least to a sane middle ground.
Well, we're going to have to keep exposing it. Powerful stuff. We're going to stay on top of it. Frank Schaeffer, Michael Keegan, thank you both for your time tonight.